This is Glenn Healy.
Hi, this is Braden Holtby.
This is Daryl Sutter.
Hi, this is Brian Burke.
This is Jordan Tutu.
This is Keith Morrison.
This is Kelly Rudy.
Hi, this is Scott Hartnell.
Hey, everybody. My name is Theo Fleury.
This is Tim McAuliffe of Sportsnet, and you're listening to the Sean Newman Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, folks. Happy Monday. Oh, playoff hockey is back. Let me tell you, I'm a little excited. I was lukewarm on the season. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't loving everything the NHL did this year, but watching the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, of all teams' matchups, man, they hate each other. And it is fun watching. And they got fans in the stands, and you can feel that emotion right through the TV, all the fans going nuts. Like, that's going to be a fun series to watch. I know our first sponsor of today's episode, Carly Clausen, he's probably taking the entire day off. Oilers starting their playoff run. Hopefully she goes for a long one this year. I know he's fired up. So the team over at Windsor Plywood, they are the builders of the podcast studio table for everything wood. These are the guys. Deck season is upon us, and Windsor stock up with their Micro Pro Sienna Brown treated lumber. So if you got backyard projects on the go, stop in and see the group at Windsor Plywood, or do what I do and always creep them on Instagram. Whether we're talking about mantles, decks, windows, doors, or sheds, these are the guys. 780-875-9663. Mortgage broker Jill Fisher. I'm just finishing up. I know I've been saying this for like 6 months, but I literally am just finishing up. But obviously her name says it all. I've been working with Jill now off and on the mortgage for a little over a year. She probably serves you don't have to do it my way, folks. I drag my feet. She serves the areas of Lloydminster, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Vermilion, and she's looking forward to working with you for all your mortgage needs in these unprecedented times. I would highly suggest getting somebody, an expert in the know, so she can help with with your needs and your concerns. Give her a call, 780-872-2914, or visit her website, www.jfisher.ca. Clay Smiley and the team over at Prophet River. Here's another guy that's probably taking the day off to watch the Oilers play. They specialize in importing firearms from the United States of America. Actually, who am I kidding? Clay's an NFL guy. He probably has it on in the background at Prophet River. They pride themselves in making this process easy for all their customers. I got to say on a side note, as I butcher this, I'm like, today's roundtable, we talk all the playoffs matchups, and I'm like, as you can tell, I'm trying to rattle off some advertisements here, and I'm excited. I hope everybody else is excited. Now let's try this again. Clay Smiley and the team over at Prophet River, they specialize in importing firearms to the United States of America. They pride themselves in making this process easy for all their customers. The team at Prophet River does all the appropriate paperwork on both sides of the border in order to legally get the firearm into Canada and into your hands. Also, they take care of registering the firearm and transferring to your PAL or FACE before shipping them by mail, courier, or bus to wherever you are. Just go to ProfitRiver.com and check them out today. They are the major retailer of firearms, optics, and accessories, and they serve all of Canada. T-Bar One Transport since 2002 for more than 19 years. The team at T-Bar has offered excellent service, putting the community first. They are located in both Lloydminster and now Bonnyville, and they can cover all your heavy haul needs. In their fleet, they have tank movers, 345-ton pickers, 1-tons, flat decks, Texas bed, winch truck, and highway tractors. The boys were heading up to Fort McMurray. Dad was showing me all these crazy different pictures, and just the hoops they got to jump through to get your products to wherever they need to go. They make it seem seamless. So for all your heavy haul needs, call the boys at T-Bar One Transport, 780-205-1709. Jen Gilbert and the team for over 45 years, since 1976. The dedicated realtors of Coldwell Banker Cityside Realty have served Lloydminster and the surrounding area. I kind of wonder if Jen, you, when you're listening to this, I'm curious, did you take the full day off of work to maybe see the Oilers game? Hey, that's just me. Star Power, that's what they're offering. They're providing their clients with 7-day-a-week access. They know service is a priority because, well, big life decisions aren't made during office hours. We all know that. Coldwell Banker, Cityside Realty, for everything real estate, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 780-875-3343. Maybe don't call them during the Oilers game. I'm just going to, who am I kidding? You can probably call them during the Oilers game if you so choose. SNP Billboard, I got to give a shout out to the team over at Read and Write. If you're looking for outdoor signage, I highly suggest you give Mrs. Deanna Wandler and the team a call, 306-825-5111. And Gartner Management is a Lloydminster-based company specializing in all types of rental properties to help meet your needs. Whether you're looking for a small office or a 6,000 square foot commercial space, give Wade Gartner a call, 780-808-5025. And if you're heading into any of these businesses, let them know you heard about them from the podcast, right? Now, here is your T-Bar 1 Tale of the Tape. We are 4 brothers spread over 10 years, all born and raised in Hillmont, Saskatchewan. All die-hard Oiler fans who are far from experts. But no worries, we're going to argue as if we are. The Golden Child, the Birdman, the Engineer, and the Big Man. Here's another Newman Brother Roundtable. Oh, and we're joined by the legend, Mike Crawford. So buckle up, here we go. All right, well, welcome to the Sean Newman podcast. I'm joined by the brothers here in the studio for another installment of Newman Brother Roundtable. We are joined off air, sitting beside us, the legend that is Mike Crawford. How about a good story of Mike, Jay? You must have a good story.
Oh, there's lots of stories about the legend, but you know what? I'm going to put one in a good light for him. So I can remember when we were young boys and hanging around at the old Amigos, and Mike used to be bounce part-time there to make some extra cash while we were going to college, or at least that's what we told our parents we were doing. And so one night, Jay's in there playing a little pool, and I honestly don't know what happened, right? I just playing pool with him one moment, next moment, 2 guys are not very happy with me. And Mike...
He was hustling.
I don't think Jason hustles anywhere, but go ahead.
Come on. And so Mike comes over and says, what's going on, Nims? I said, I don't know. These guys are a little upset at me. He says, don't worry about it. So I watch him. He goes the other side, sits down with the 2 guys for a minute, just has a very nice conversation like you'd have with your grandparents. And then the 2 old guys, they just get up and they just leave. Right? And to this day, he's never said what he said to him or anything, but they just literally, I don't know if he said, hey, if you guys leave, I'll give you $100 in the parking lot so it makes me look tough. I'm not sure, but they literally got up and left. So there's a little story.
We don't get to hear on the podcast what the words were? Taking it to your death?
I still think my favorite Croft story is we're having the Don's Cup today, which is the Newman hockey playoff draft. And Croft has been in how many years and hasn't won? Like, what's he up to now?
We started in 06.
06.
Yes.
And it's now, so that's 15 years without a championship.
That is why the
Are you
Don's
sure you
Cup
still want to join this? Hey?
That is why the Don's Cup legend, Mike Crawford, is sitting with us today, because we have the Don's Cup later
Who's
today.
the longest tenured NHL franchise? Is Buffalo Sabres? Buffalo Sabres, right? Has not won a cup.
Is that true?
Well, Buffalo was in, so there was the original 6, and then there was the next 6, which would include St. Louis, who went to the finals the very first year, right?
Yeah.
And got beat by Orr, flying through the air.
Yep.
And then I want to say there was Philly and maybe a Washington team. And I think Buffalo was one of them first 6 in there because you got the old French connection that was coming in the 70s
How many
there.
years has it been Vancouver without winning a cup?
Well, Vancouver didn't get in, though, I don't think, until the start of the 80s.
Yeah, that was with the Oilers.
Right? But I think Buffalo was right in that original when the other 6 teams came in.
And you realize Buffalo finished dead last in the NHL with 37
So what we're saying is Mike
points.
Crawford is the Buffalo Sabres.
Well,
of
what
the
we should
Don's
call
Cup.
him is the Mike Crawford Legend Sabres.
The Sabre legend.
The Sabre legend.
The legend, Mike Crawford Sabres.
You know, it's
Dixie Cup Croft.
so we're sitting in here, folks, and we got everybody's got a cup for a little bit of scotch, which Dustin had to provide this time. And we only have 4 cups, so Crawford's drinking it out of a Dixie cup. Might have to take a picture of that. He doesn't want to say
We should
anything
have
now.
Croft in here every time we do one of these. This is good. This is great.
You know, on the last one, I re-listened to it today. You two, and I'm talking Dustin and Jay, were way off base with the Buffalo Sabres. You said the Buffalo Sabres were going to run the table this year, that Taylor Hall was going to have a hell of a season. And
He's having a hell of a year with Boston.
Well, no, I just want to say that I was wrong with a little bit with Taylor Hall, but I was right about Buffalo. So you took it that they were going to run the tables in a good way. I meant they were going to run the table into the ground, and they did.
Well,
So-
Taylor Hall's having a hell of a year with Boston now.
You know what? I listened to the last podcast. I realized, folks, whatever we say, do the opposite. That's all I
Okay,
say.
and what were you going to say about me, Sean? Is it Mike Smith? Because I don't know what the hell's going on with Mike Smith still.
Oh, you want the exact words, Dustin?
Yeah.
Do you want the exact words that came out of his mouth? Here's what he
Yes.
said. Mike Smith, 39. Then he went on like a 7-minute rant where people kept trying to but Dust, it's a backup goalie. Dust. He goes, has nothing left, shouldn't even sign him, old and is hurting the team. He's not helping your team, get rid of him.
I still don't trust him in the playoffs.
Well, that's great because you're hanging on by
Yeah.
a thread, bud. Do you realize that Mike Smith has broken the all-time Oiler goalie record for save percentage in a season?
You know what?
He will forever
He's
go
been
down in
so
history.
good that they should sign him to a 4-year deal at the end of this year.
Well,
That's
let's
what
not
they
get
should do.
ridiculous, Dust. Probably
Well,
maybe
come on,
another year.
Exactly. He's breaking records at 39 years old, and we think
All I know is we wasted 7 minutes listening to your rant when you absolutely, what we realize is know nothing. So
Side note,
hey, you're all over the Buffalo
longest
Sabres,
active
Jay.
team to not make the playoffs, Buffalo Sabres, 10 years.
You did also say Cody Dust was in a rant about Mikko Koivu as well. You had a lot of rants last episode.
where is Mikko Koivu right now?
Where is he?
I don't know.
He's disappeared from the league.
Is he no longer in the league?
But I will say I was wrong, Dust. So my apologies.
Whoa. But Turris was terrible.
No. Turris was. But
Back it up. But the reason I
my
bring up
my,
Mikko
my
Koivu-
apologies is because I bet you that Cody Eakin would score 4 goals,
and he scored 3.
and he only scored 3.
And Turris has been a total bust.
Yeah.
You know what? I tell you what. Ryan McLeod might have been the guy all along.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think about actually, one other side note, because this was a funny part. At the end, we got talking American politics, because it was a while back we did this. And so the election hadn't been won yet. Everybody in here thought Trump, and I said Kanye West. So we were all wrong again. So just don't listen to us.
No. It's a good thing we're good looking, eh, Sean?
Yeah, that's right. Tooth is getting fixed here shortly, so I won't have that to hang my hat on anymore.
For now. How long did the last
That was
tooth
the
last?
that's the only interesting thing about you, Sean, and you're fixing it.
All I'm hearing is Dustin and I need to have another party so that Sean can lose his tooth again. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, that's a story
That's
for
tonight.
a different day.
That's tonight. That's tonight.
That
House.
is tonight.
That is tonight.
Let's talk about the NHL playoffs. What are your thoughts here? Do you want to start in the different divisions, or how would you like to do it?
Yeah, I'll go division.
All right, let's start with the North. Yeah, with the All Canadian division, you got Edmonton versus Winnipeg, and you got Toronto versus Montreal. What's your thoughts?
I think this is one of the easier divisions, quite honestly. I don't think Montreal's going anywhere. Toronto is the deepest team in the division by far.
The only
Top
thing
to bottom.
the only thing is out of anybody that's played the Leafs, I think if anybody's going to beat Toronto, Montreal's the only team that is going to beat. I don't think Edmonton's going to beat them. I don't think Winnipeg was going to beat them. For whatever reason, Toronto struggles a little bit with Montreal. I'm not saying that Montreal is going to beat them, but out of anybody, Montreal has the best chance of beating them.
Montreal probably has the best defense, maybe. And if their goalie's getting back, isn't he? Is Price coming back?
Yeah, Price coming. You know what I love about that, Hurls, is you've just said a whole mouthful, which in the end you can say you're right somehow. Right? So if Toronto wins, you said, see, I told you. And if Montreal
Ron
wins,
McLean
see,
did?
I was the only guy, right?
Ron McLean
Very,
did?
very smooth, Harley.
Yeah.
I'm. You know what I find interesting is we hit the playoffs, and as soon as we hit the playoffs, everybody. And this is more than one. Harley was saying it before, but I've heard it from more than one person, right? Well, Toronto and Edmonton are going to win the first rounds. And Vegas and Colorado, they're both going to the Cup. And it's so funny because
So who do you think's winning, Jay?
No,
then
but
give
I
us-
just
so
find
then
Thanks,
give
winning,
us a
Jay.
pick then, Jay.
Come on, Jay.
Don't be that guy.
I think I'm picking Toronto out of the North.
Oh. So out of all of that, you've just said a whole bunch of
At
words.
least I
then
picked
as well,
the team,
eh?
Harley. Instead of I could sit here and go through. You know what? Winnipeg's got a really big team. If they come and play, and Hellebuck stands
give
on
it
his
a
head, and
break.
Edmonton's got the
kidding
two
me?
best players on the team, and if they're really going great guns, they'll
No,
beat Winnipeg. And
I
and Toronto's
what I
always the best
said
team in
is-
the North, and if they get good goaltending, and Montreal, they're big and tough, and if some of their guys
we
come
don't
back,
need a 7-minute rant, Jay.
well,
Are you
there we
done?
sit.
Are you done?
Well, that's what you just sounded like.
Wow.
So who did I
Okay.
pick? Well, I know I'm picking one of them four.
Holy fuck.
I will say that I'm picking Toronto, but I will say this is that because Edmonton has Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, that I wouldn't want to play them because right now McDavid's out of this world. So,
For whatever reason, though, Toronto has Edmonton's number. At least it seems
Toronto's
like they have.
deeper all the way through the lineup,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
And the only
Except
team
for
that-
Mike Smith.
The only team, for whatever reason, that Toronto has struggled with is Montreal. throughout in Ottawa, but Ottawa is.
Here's the
such
thing
an
about a
anomaly.
long season is that you look at Toronto's depth, and they're good enough. There's some nights where they just don't show up for whatever reason. That happens in a season, especially as compressed as this one.
The only thing with Montreal is they're a bigger, heavier team. So
Well,
that
their
is
defense is for sure. That's how Edmonton had problems with Montreal as well, is because of their defense.
I think it's the first season in a long time I've been excited to watch the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know that's easy to say because they got the 2 top scorers in the NHL. But, I mean, they got the 2 top scorers in the NHL. They got a goalie who is playing as good as any goalie in the NHL. And you can sit there and go, I don't know if I trust him in the playoffs. Well, fuck off. I mean, what more do you want out of a guy who's 39 and playing his absolute lights out? We all sit and look at Joe Thornton and Jason Spezza and Wayne Simmons and say they're going to be great because it's their last season. It's the last kick of the can. Well, Mike Smith's sitting in the same boat. If it's Dustin, he wouldn't have signed him this year. Dust sure as shit ain't signing him next year.
You know
Dust is out of the league right
and
now.
if we
No,
get,
no,
if we
hold
get-
on.
if
I'd
we-
actually
if
sign
we
him as
get-
a backup next year. He's earned it.
Are you
One
fucking
year.
kidding
One
me?
year.
Are we talking about the
salary.
backup again?
Min salary.
I'm saying if you get good goaltending and Mike
Yes.
Smith, what do you need in the playoffs? You need good goaltending.
Yes.
Timely scoring, and you got the 2 best scorers in the league right now.
I will say this. The Edmonton Oilers defense is the best they've had for defense since when? Chris Pronger?
Since Pronger.
Since Pronger. 06.
Okay. So,
So
we're
they got a
start-
shot. No, absolutely.
Well,
So,
and I
so
think,
you're picking Edmonton then?
I'm gonna take Edmonton to beat Winnipeg. Don't care how they do it. I don't know how they're gonna get by Toronto because they haven't played well against them this year. But I'm expecting Connor McDavid to take it up about 6 notches, and that's saying something because where he's at right now is on another level. He plays like that, nobody's gonna stop him.
You know what? Last year, I think because of the knee injury, he would have been a lot better last year. Like, he would have been out of this world last year, but I think it took him a while to get over that knee injury. Whereas this year, he's just gotten better as the season's gone on to where he's almost unstoppable at this point.
So who are you taking? You're taking Toronto?
I'm going to take Toronto because I just think they're deeper.
Charles?
Toronto.
Yeah, I'm taking Toronto too.
All
Next
right,
division.
all right, okay. Well, we'll go to the. I believe we'll go to the. I don't know.
No,
why
we-
this is such.
Go to the
Mike, who do you wanna
Carolina.
take in
Go
the
to the
North?
Carolina.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking. It's the Central.
Who's your team in the North?
Croft?
Who's the Buffalo Sabres taking first overall here?
Here's the thing about Montreal is they had 13 overtime losses there this year, but they hang around. And now there's no 3-on-3. I picked them to upset Toronto, and they're coming out.
Oh,
Wow.
Heard it here first.
Wow, was right. Did he just say the Montreal Canadiens are,
Are you
making it out
taking
of
them
the
in the
North?
Dons Cup tonight?
Oh boy. All right. Well, we'll go to the Central. Wow. All right, we'll go to the Central Division. So the matchups you got is Carolina versus Nashville, and the Florida Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Lightning.
You have the best first round series in the playoffs. Probably right there in Tampa Bay and Florida. That is going to be an absolutely gangbuster series because both those teams are phenomenal. I don't even know who to pick between the two. I'll take Carolina over Nashville because I think Carolina's too good. But that other series, and then the winner of that series has got to play Carolina. Good God. I don't know. I'll pick Carolina to come out of there, but
I'm picking Florida to beat Tampa Bay. Only reason for that, I think, is having 2 guys coming back from injury that haven't played in a little while. They're going to be fresh, but they're going to be a little bit rusty, and it's going to take them a few games. If Florida can jump out on them early, then you go tit for tat. I think Florida beats them. Carolina, I have coming out of the other series, and Florida moving out.
All right. Well, I don't think Carolina's tough enough, so I think Nashville is this year's San Jose.
Well, I see. That's what I said. I was saying I was on Kurt Price's show today. I said, "What happened to Nashville? Like everybody just has written them off. Like they're done. No, not a chance.
They
Jeez,
haven't been the
haven't
same.
we seen this song and dance? How many times?
Well-
San Jose, L.A. Kings. What was the other one? There was another team that had been in there. Washington.
yeah, Nashville
Right?
lost tourists though. They've never been the same
Oh
since.
God, right?
I don't know. You look. I just looked at the lineups.
Aren't they a veteran team? Nashville.
They are. Their defense is awfully good.
Well, I like good defense and goaltending in the playoffs, and everybody talks about how good Carolina is, but you look at Nashville's depth on that team, and if they come to play in the playoffs, I don't know. So, anyways, I'm picking Nashville to beat Carolina, and I understand what Harley says about Tampa, but I think their defense and goaltending is as good as anybody in the league. So I think they're going to overcome them injuries and beat Florida, who's missing Ekblad. And
What happened to Ekblad?
He's out right
would
now.
Would he break his leg or something?
Like he's not.
It was something pretty serious.
Well, here, I can look it up here quick.
Tampa's awfully good.
And then I think Tampa beats Nashville. So I'm picking Tampa out of there.
Ekblad out 12 weeks after surgery for left leg.
Oh.
And I would say where I'm at is I'm not so certain Nashville can get by Tampa. Like Tampa's like.
Are you talking Tampa or Carolina?
I'm talking Tampa. No. Nashville's getting by Carolina.
Okay.
I think
so you're saying Nashville's getting by Carolina, and then you're wondering about Tampa. You're saying Tampa Bay is going to win the first round.
I'm saying Nashville is the San Jose, the Washington Capitals of every other year. They're getting through the first round. The problem they got is they got Tampa Bay in their way, and I think that's a steep order.
Well, the problem is with Tampa is Florida has the best shot at beating them because, like you said, Kucherov, Stamkos are coming back. But if Tampa wins that first round, now they've had a first round under them.
Yeah,
and to me, that's what I could see if Tampa Bay gets this thing rolling and they don't hit more injuries. Where next thing you see them in the Cup final.
You want to talk about a deep team? Freaking Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And Cup winners know how to do it, right?
Yeah. That's right. So I got Tampa coming out of there. I got Tampa meeting Edmonton in the conference final.
That is the deepest division, isn't it?
I don't. Man, like.
Top to bottom, though?
I don't know. Like, you want to compare that to Boston,
Pittsburgh, Washington, Pittsburgh?
I think it's deeper.
Oh.
And now Riff Raff has walked in.
Yeah, we're just letting anybody in the
door.
room now.
Don't worry about it, eh?
Welcoming to the studio, Colby Mann, who brought his 6-pack of Corona. He's feeling dangerous
so many
today.
Ribs, like, good Lord.
Colbs, there's a chair outside if you open the door. Mm-hmm. Maybe try not to slam it, and maybe not try to shoot beer all over the ceiling either. Like there's a
bottle of scotch right here. All right, so
Dust, there's a bottle opener right here.
Don't be a child. It's already open.
He's got it.
Oh
all right.
My God. Okay. Anyways, Croft, who you got coming out of?
Hey! Everybody stay 6 feet away from each other, right?
That's right. Crawford, we are 6 feet away from each other, Dust.
I'm just making sure everybody remembers. And Harley mascot.
So who's Croft taking out of this division?
Croft,
Tampa Bay, Florida, Carolina, Nashville.
Yeah, who you got?
Need a little 2-second. Well, give him the mic. Need a little 2-second here.
I would say I got a flashy $20 bill with Harley coming out of that Tampa Bay series if he's up for it, and Tampa coming out of that division.
Ooh, Harl's $20 bet.
That was a straight up challenge.
You know what? That one is on record, so I will take that one, Croft.
He owes me $1,000.
Oh yeah, $1,000. Exactly.
Now we got Dixie Cup Colby too. He's got the. We ran out of cups, folks. We ran out of cups. The old Don's Cup draft day here. Now the next division is Pittsburgh versus New York Islanders, Washington versus the Boston Bruins. Thoughts?
The second series I'm most interested in, Washington and Boston, because of Zdeno Chara. I'm going to take Boston to come out of that because I think with Taylor Hall, they've got 2 lines that are probably the best 2 lines in hockey.
I was listening to Ray Ferraro just yesterday, actually, talking about Taylor Hall because somebody was asking about Boston, and he said he knows somebody close to Taylor Hall, and the guy told him he's actually having fun playing hockey again, which he hasn't had since he last played in Edmonton. So.
I hate to pump Jay's tires on this, but I think Jay said this for about 10 years straight now, that Taylor Hall can't be the guy, probably can't even be the second guy. But if you could slot him in as like the third or fourth guy,
you're gonna give Jay the credit on that?
I think he's the one who said that.
I am the guy.
I said he was like Phil Kessel.
Yeah,
Phil
I
know.
Kessel.
After I said it. You are my younger brother, so
I tell you what,
you've been saying the same thing as me for a long time.
I tell you
now.
what,
I'm
Taylor
gonna go back
Hall
through the tapes.
Yeah. Taylor Hall is perfectly suited in that lineup on the second line behind 3 big guns on the first line.
There is zero pressure.
Oh yeah.
Is there zero pressure for him?
No,
and yet you're adding a guy who absolutely.
Well, he's a Hart Trophy winner.
But can you think of anybody in the entire NHL that wants to win more than Taylor Hall? That wants to tell everybody to go pound.
Signed with Buffalo for a year.
No, but I'm just saying. I just think he wants to tell everybody to go pound sand.
How about Joe Thornton? Doesn't he want to win
Jay.
it?
Yeah, but I don't think Joe's going to affect the lineup the same as what Taylor Hall is.
Well, no. Taylor Hall's, 28?
Something like that?
Something like that.
Not me. I'm in my prime. That's Taylor Hall right now.
Colorado. So, we'll bring this back. So, who's winning? Who's coming out of those divisions?
I'm going to say Boston. I'm going to say Pittsburgh beats the Islanders in a great series as well, but I'm going to pick Boston to come out.
I got Pittsburgh as well, and I as well am very excited to watch Washington, Boston. However, I think
I gotta stop this for a second and give a shout out to Jeannie, Aunt Jeannie. She's trying to call me. Sorry, Jean, I'm in the middle of recording right now, so I can't answer.
Just man, I'm opening up my phone because she's going to call me within the next 2 minutes for sure.
One of us, anyways.
Yeah.
We'll see who's the next.
Oh, do we got a bet here? $5 on the next person who gets a phone call from Jeannie?
No, I bet $5 it won't be me.
Carl's $5 between whether it's you or me next.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. $5. We're on. Okay. Go ahead.
I also have Boston beating Washington in a good series, and then Boston beating Pittsburgh.
Well, I don't even want to talk about it because I think the exact same as them two, so this is lame because we all think the same. And we've seen from history that we're usually wrong, so probably the Islanders are going to beat Washington in a Game 7.
That's what I got.
Here's
I got Islanders. Well, I got Islanders Boston in the second round.
You do, eh?
Yeah.
You got Islanders beating Pitt.
I think everybody's shitting on the Islanders.
Barry Trotz.
Yeah, I think he's gonna find a way to work his magic. Maybe I'm wrong.
The biggest difference between Washington and Boston?
Well, I think it's hard not to argue Boston. They're a veteran team who added Taylor freaking Hall, and he's playing hard.
So all four of us are saying Boston right now.
The other thing
You're both wrong. Gene's calling me again. So you each owe me $5.
You did not get on the bet, Sean.
Yeah,
so only Harley and I agreed to the bet.
The one difference I think for the Boston Washington is rookie goalie versus somebody that has gone all the way, right? So you've got a veteran goalie versus a new one, and to me that I think is the biggest difference there.
Kraft?
Can't bet against Trotzy. They play tight hockey. Islanders are coming out.
Does Colbs want in on this? Yeah. You got any thoughts on who's coming out of that?
Taking Pittsburgh and Boston.
Who's winning the series though?
Boston's coming out.
He's boring like the rest of us.
Yeah, he's also a Rose guy, right? Like
Derrick Rose.
Yeah, we're not talking about NBA here, Colbs. You know. Finally, you got Colorado, St. Louis, Vegas, Minnesota.
Okay, well I'll start then. This is just another one where, to me, on paper, it looks like it just should be Colorado, Vegas, and we shouldn't even worry about it. But St. Louis does have a lot of guys in there that have won before. And so I'm going to say in that series, which is St. Louis, Colorado, correct?
St. Louis, Colorado.
Mismatch on paper in a certain way, but it might come down to as long as Grubauer can play up to point, right? If Bennington all of a sudden comes out and starts to play really well, and Grubauer starts to play...
Who are you picking, Jay?
Average?
Who are you picking, Jay?
I already told you. I mean, this is a slam dunk in my mind. Out of all the divisions,
you're starting to sound like Harley over there.
Slam dunk.
You know,
but
Bennington plays well.
But if
St.
Louis, you know,
this is a slam dunk. But if Arizona could get a couple more points, it might make it interesting. Well, I'm picking Colorado and Vegas. I'm picking Colorado to beat Vegas.
I'm gonna go Vegas coming out. Colorado, Vegas. Vegas coming out. I think to me this is a straightforward of the two teams that are coming out. But what do I know?
Yeah, and I got Colorado, Vegas making it as well. I got Vegas coming through there. I think Colorado's probably the most entertaining team to watch. Defenseman at heart, right? Like some of their guys, like Makar and Bowen Byram, and like they're just fun to watch. Like I root for them, like I root for sadly the Toronto Maple Leafs because they're a fun team to watch. They got like just the star power. But in saying that, the Vegas Golden Knights have probably been the most dominant team for the last 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. Like when they play, I mean they should have been in the Stanley Cup final last year, but Dallas's goaltender played out of his mind every single game. So if they run into that and on any team, maybe they don't make it. But Vegas, in my mind, should be in the Stanley Cup final. Like
they're just that solid team, aren't they?
That Vegas,
top
Tampa Bay, you just expect them to be in the finals almost every year right now.
So is that who you're taking?
Vegas, Colorado, and Vegas coming up.
All right. I'm the only Colorado guy. Croft?
I'm taking Colorado.
Colbs is in with Colorado.
Vegas has Stone. They added Peter Angelo. They're going through.
There we go.
You know, Crawford, you're starting to remind me of Daddy-O a little bit when you talk about hockey. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
It always reminds me of Dad's draft with Fedorov. Did we ever tell that on this show?
By all means.
So one of our first Don's Cup, back when Fedorov was a big deal in Detroit, Dad goes in the second round. I'll take Fedorov. Somebody yells, Dad, he's already taken. Oh, yeah. Okay. So he takes somebody else. Gets to his pick in the third round. I'm going to take Fedorov. Dad, he's already taken. Oh, yeah. All right. So he takes somebody else. Eh? We got to about the fifth round, and he goes, yeah, I think I'm going to take Fedorov. You're like, Fedorov's been gone for 4 rounds, man. Find somebody else.
You ever wonder if he was doing that on purpose?
Well, he might have been.
Just to get a rise out of all of us?
It might have
just
been.
to get a rise out of Jay.
Just slow playing him. I'll take Fedorov, right? And he knows everybody's just like,
Dad! You know, that's almost...
Do you honestly believe he would be here in the 5th fucking round?
So, this story is almost as great as that one. I was at a Husky hockey draft for the playoffs one year, and Pittsburgh was in its prime. Crosby was in his prime. And some guy who didn't watch a lot of hockey got first pick overall, and he took Stephen Crosby.
So who'd they give him?
He was dead serious.
So who'd they give him?
And everybody just howled. Yeah, it was great.
Did they give him Crosby or Stamkos?
I don't know.
Stephen Crosby. Is that your final answer? Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh.
Okay, well, we all got our teams coming out of the first, out of each division, right?
The first 2 rounds.
Yeah, and so the interesting thing is so out of who do you think's coming? Who's making the Stanley Cup Finals? I guess is what I'm getting at. Who do you think? It's not the East and West. It's kind of this mismatch, right? Because I got the Oilers, Tampa, and then I got the Boston Bruins versus the Vegas Golden Knights in the semifinals. So who do you got out of your finalists to make the conference finals? Who's your 2 finalists? Who's winning the cup?
So my 2 finalists are going to be Toronto's going to beat Tampa Bay, and who's the other side? Boston and
Colorado.
Jay.
And Boston's going to beat Colorado. So I'm going Boston, Toronto in the finals.
Oh,
Original
can
6.
you imagine
Original
that?
6.
I tell you what, who's winning that? Is Boston getting over their curse, or Toronto getting over the curse, or are they?
I can't. I feel really smart for naming them 2 teams, especially when I have such a proven track record. But you know what? I just think it would be such a great series, and I think whatever side won. I mean, you got Taylor Hall, you got
Jay, pick a winner. Pick a winner.
Need the third degree at the very beginning.
Okay, so the difference is going to come down to in that series with goaltending. So Tuukka Rask is out going to play, and Boston wins cup.
And Toronto is singing the same song they've been singing.
Toronto can't beat the devil that Boston is.
Yeah, the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I was going to pick those 2, but now I can't because Jay did.
That's why I went first, Dustin.
No, for sure.
So
I'll pick.
Do you want me to go?
I will go Toronto versus Vegas.
Is that what really your gut tells you, Dust?
Well, I told you what my gut. I told you Toronto, Boston, but I can't go the same as you because you're an asshole. So I'll go.
You really think Toronto, Boston as well?
That's who I was going to pick.
So why the hell would you change it?
I don't know because I can't pick the same as Jay.
You're gonna be that guy.
I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy.
Is that a younger brother issue? A second brother issue? Is that what you got going on here?
I've got a
always
confidence
wants to
issue
be
with
the
my older
same,
brother,
eh?
Jay. Yeah.
Doesn't want to be the same.
I don't want to be the same as Jay.
But he does.
Secretly he does.
I'll go Toronto, Vegas with the Vegas Golden Knights winning it all.
I got Boston, Vegas.
If you
whoa! I can stop there. So Dustin thinks Toronto and Boston, but because I picked him, he's not going to go with it. But then he's going to go Toronto, Vegas, and then Vegas win it all. When he didn't think they're going to be in the cup to begin with.
Who do you think's going to win at Toronto, Boston if that happens?
I thought Boston was.
Oh God.
Oh, that's confusing. Harles?
Boston's losing out first round now.
That's a whole lot of soup sandwich right there.
Can't wait for Taylor Hall to just sewer dust more and just play terrible take.
I would love that because I've been on the Taylor Hall bandwagon for forever, and he deserves to win a cup for sure.
I don't know about that, but carry on.
Deserves to win a cup. Oh
yeah,
my
for
God.
the amount of abuse he's taken, he's a great hockey player.
Just shake my head. I had Boston, Vegas, taking Vegas to go ahead of Boston, and then Florida to beat Toronto. and I have Florida winning it all.
Florida
in a match that nobody watches. Hey, Florida and Vegas.
Whoa! They'll have more fans in the stands for the first time ever than the rest of the league. Their 3,000 fans would outrank anybody else's arena.
Jeez, I had the Oil. I feel like the Oilers make the finals, and they're going to face the absolute juggernaut the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be. And you know what? I'm going to sound like a total fucking homer, and that's fine. And the Oilers, Connor McDavid is going to go to different places this year, and the Oilers are bringing it home, baby.
So but honestly, like every year that the Oilers make the playoffs, doesn't Sean pick the Oilers? Like it still feels like I got my little brother here, and the Oilers have made it, and they're going to the finals. Hey?
Hey, have pride in your team. I like it.
Hey, we got the 2 top scorers in the entire league. We got a goaltender who's probably on his last leg. He's going to play out of his effing mind.
I don't know if he has legs.
And what more do you need? And you know what? I'd love to shit on Darnell Nurse. He's on my list here because I did shit on him like freaking 8 episodes ago, and all I've heard from listeners since then is like, Darnell Nurse scored another goal. Darnell Nurse looked pretty fucking good. Yeah, and I'm like, well,
Sean.
Darnell Nurse, take it home, buddy, so I can just
I just
eat
love it though, Sean. I'm gonna go with the Oilers.
It's really tough.
You got.
They made the playoffs though, so I'm gonna have to take.
We could have Fernando Pisani and Doug Waite in the team, and Sean would find a way for the Oilers to win it.
Yeah.
You got your other brother who says it's Toronto Boston, but since you took it, well, I'm gonna take Vegas Toronto and like, come on, you're gonna give me a hard time.
I can't
for
pick the
Edmonton?
same as Jay. Come on now, what are we gonna say?
I don't know if that's what you actually believe. I don't know. Maybe stick with what you think. Dude, that'd be something, wouldn't it? Just because I
Edmonton every year. Come on now.
I do not
Come
pick
on.
the Oilers
I'm
every
sure
year.
Sean picked
Oh,
Edmonton
man.
one year where they didn't quite make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But he thought they might back in there.
Nobody knows Tampa coming through.
Okay, well, what's your picks? What's your finals?
Well, can Tampa and Boston make it?
And who's going to win our...
Boston's going to come out on top.
What are you doing? Flexing there? Are you flexing, making your picks? He's like got the arm up.
He's flexing.
Hey,
What about
first time in the studio?
We better
nervous.
get the Buffalo Sabres Croft
just
pick.
a second.
Well, I'm a little hesitant because I didn't quite understand the structure of the third round going in here. But I think for what we're talking about is I'd love to see Edmonton win just because I'm a big fan of them. I think you're going to see your juggernaut Vegas. But we're going to pick a little dark horse special with Carey Price riding them all the way to the final, but with Vegas winning it all.
So
Vegas, Montreal.
He's not only talking like, holy Dinah. That is
And that, folks, is why he's never won the cup.
I'm rooting for Montreal now, man.
Yeah.
Hey, let's pull for a little Montreal. I don't think they
I
can
hope they
do
get
it.
swept 4 straight.
Well, I tell you what, in the playoffs, as we all know, all you need, like, I just go back to J.S. Jaguar. That's come up multiple times on here. You need a goaltender to get hot at the right time, and a little timely scoring. And Montreal
Jaguar-
isn't built to try and go run and gun with Toronto. They're built to try and just slow them down. And
Jaguar
their
did
goaltending
have
play well.
Pronger and Niedermeyer in front
No,
of
he
him.
did not. We went through this team, Dust. He had a bunch of nobodies on that team. A bunch of nobodies. The team you're talking
Didn't he
about.
have? That was the
I'm
team
not,
was
I'm not
Solana,
talking-
didn't he?
that was the year they
before.
I'm talking the year they lost to New Jersey in the finals.
Right.
Not the year they won it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
The year he beat the Detroit Red Wings, and it was just like going into third and fourth overtime because Anaheim had nobody.
Back when he
What we're
had
talking
the
about is
triangles on his
Buffalo
shoulders
Sabres
there.
and Dominic Hasek. That's what we're talking about.
That's right.
You need a goalie to get
Now, is
flipping
Carey
hot.
Price Dominic Hasek?
Absolutely,
Well,
could be.
Carey Price
could
could
be.
be.
Could be.
Olsen even.
No, but the Oilers
The
that
Oilers were pretty decent that year. They weren't great, but they were decent.
They
had a
were
solid lineup.
not decent.
They
They
had a
were the
solid-
bottom
they
team
had
to get
Pronger.
into the West.
They had a
That is
solid
it.
lineup.
They're the worst team in the West to get in.
They had a solid. The Edmonton Oilers that year had a solid lineup. If you look at their team,
No, Dust. I understand what you're saying. They were 8th place getting into the West. They were the
Bunch
bottom
of
team.
jokers in here
so
today,
were the-
folks.
They had
so were the
all-world-
LA
Bunch of
Kings.
jokers
Jay.
in
They
here.
had all-world Chris Pronger
Yes.
and nobody else.
No, wait.
They had Ryan Smith, Alex Hemsky, Samsonov, Mike Pekka,
Actually, you might have-
Pisani.
you
I mean,
might-
they had a lot of great guys, a lot of hard-working,
third working.
blue-collar.
But you
line
might
guys.
be able to argue the Montreal Canadiens are very similar to that Oilers team. They
I
got
agree.
a world-class defenseman. If Weber can be healthy and play well, then that's what they're saying about Carey Price.
Right.
You got the number one goalie when he's ready or on top of his game
You got
in
Shea
the world.
Weber.
And you got Shea Weber, who's a number one defenseman in the league if he's healthy.
And a bunch of scrappy, blue-collar, whatever, right? Big, tough defense.
Absolutely.
So the thing about that Edmonton Oilers team is they were solid. The thing they're missing that whole year, the reason why they didn't do very well is because they were missing a goalie. And they picked up Rolison at the deadline, who was a solid goalie.
I understand, but you can't compare them to a team even like Boston or Tampa or Pittsburgh.
And I'm not trying
they didn't have
to.
any star guys on that team.
I'm
They were
not-
a very middling team.
What I'm saying, Jay, is they weren't a bad team. They were just a very solid team. They didn't have many weaknesses in their lineup.
Right.
They actually had just very middle-of-the-road guys that were hardworking and decent hockey players.
Yep.
Like, who invited these guys?
I don't know.
Hey? Like, I'm ready to tackle somebody, throw them out the door.
Do we need to do the final five already?
Well, I'm starting to think maybe we do. Hey? Let's get in here. Let's enjoy it. Let's be
NBA.
Come for the NBA finals.
The NBA still playing?
Yeah.
Playoffs are about to start, bro.
Playoffs?
You know, on my list of questions,
We're talking about playoffs?
I don't even got an NBA one. You know what? Hey, Jay, who do you think's making the NBA finals this year?
Well, I think the Raps have got to be in there. They're probably the best team in the North. And I really like LeBron, right? I'm a big LeBron fan. So
It's got to be LeBron. I don't know anybody
Croft,
else.
you
who
know?
plays.
Do you watch any NBA? Like, does anybody in here watch any NBA?
I'm picking. No, to be serious, I'm picking Brooklyn. That's my pick.
Brooklyn?
Yep.
What are you coming out the other side?
The other
Lakers.
side, I'm going
Just go Lakers.
Yeah, I'm going Brooklyn Lakers in the finals.
Doesn't matter. It's going to be Lakers.
Colby, have you actually watched a ton of NBA?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna have our 2-minute NBA report.
Sure. Okay, Colby, grab the mic. Who's making the finals? Like, just give us a little bit. Get off your phone. Like, he's a total millennial right now. We're having a conversation, and he's on his phone.
Hey, the guy he likes in the round table here is Harley. So he takes after Harley, looks on the phone, gets some stats.
Come on, let's hear it. Come
we're
on.
asking you to pick your finalists, Cobes. Just pick them. Like, I could say the Lakers, for God's sakes.
I'm going to take
Is this really happening? The NBA?
the Milwaukee Bucks are going to go.
You're going to take them over the Nets?
You can't even say it
Yeah.
with a straight face. Look.
And I think the Phoenix Suns.
What?
I don't even know who.
Can we
Like,
get...
does Steve Nash still play for the Suns?
No. Wait.
Chris Paul and Devin Booker.
Or in with Phoenix?
Yeah.
You think they're going to take over the, like,
LeBron?
I don't even know
They're
what...
going deep this year.
I don't even know the standings. Like, I feel like a... Oh, God.
I'm going to go say the Lakers because that's the only team I know, but they got
Lakers are
LeBron.
coming
So
in 7th place.
they got LeBron.
Yeah, he's old.
He is old, but he's still probably the best when he wants
My
to
dark horse is the Dallas Mavericks. I'd like to see them go deep.
You know, here's the thing about LeBron at this point is he's kind of like that song, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. I think he's at that age.
I would say he's probably probably the greatest player to ever play. But I think they're just too big. There's so many small, quick teams that are going to take it to him.
Well, and I'm looking at the standings of the West right now. The Utah Jazz in first, the Phoenix Suns in second, Denver and Nuggets in third, the Clippers, Mavericks, Trailblazers, Lakers, and the Golden State Warriors are the final two teams making this. They're the bottom two seeds.
Yeah. You gotta remember there's a play-in round too, right? So 6, 7, and 8 play for 7th spot, and the loser of that plays 9 and 10 for the 8th spot.
Geez, that sounds like their last conversation where they add too many teams in, eh, Dust?
You know what, Sean? That sounds real exciting.
Yeah, it does. But who
would want to do that?
No.
Too many
If
teams
you're gonna
in.
do that, you're gonna have the 15th play the 14th, and that winner of that plays the 13th to play the 12th. And what's the point of it?
Yeah, geez, we're just playing rounds, let's get the top two teams off each side.
Stephen Curry playing LeBron James for a play-in game for who makes the playoffs.
That'd be fun.
Oh no, that wouldn't be fun, Dust. Like, that's too many teams.
Who would want that?
They didn't play good enough this year.
Wait a minute, was Curry in 8th? Is it his team in 8th then?
They're tied for 8th right now with the Grizzlies.
There's a chance.
Oh, there's a chance. Jeez, that'd
All
be
I'm
terrible.
saying is-
that'd be terrible television.
Hey, Sean, do you have the standings up there? Who would have, if it were worth the
NHL?
same in the NHL, who would have played?
You know what?
Let's see if it would have been worth our time.
You know what? Whoa. Before you get into this, what I will say is this, is what we need more in the playoffs is teams with losing records having a chance in the playoffs.
No,
That's what we should have.
We're talking about a one-game playoff where each division had the 4th and the 5th play one game to get 4th.
What the NBA has, what is it? Down to team number 12 has a shot, or 10 or something? 10?
Yeah. Okay.
So 10 teams out of 15 have a shot to make the playoffs.
Just let it. Okay, so in the North, you would have had a play-in game between the Flames and the Canadians. All right.
Nobody would have watched that anyway.
In the West, between the Blues and the Arizona Coyotes.
That's
Coyotes.
That's pretty poor
In the
too.
East, between the Islanders and the Rangers.
Ooh, that would have been a good one.
And in the Central, between the Predators and the Dallas Stars.
Ooh.
I tell you what, a one game to get in, all of a sudden there's
could
something
the
there.
Dallas Stars have beat Nashville in a game?
Yes, they
And
could
all of a
have.
sudden you have last year's Stanley Cup champions trying to make the run.
Last year's Stanley Cup Finals.
Sorry, finalists. My bad.
And you know what's a fun stat about the Dallas Stars? They lost 14 games, 14 in overtime. 14. Like, they even get half of those.
That
They're in
sounds
the
pretty
playoffs.
fun. Hey, Dust, if we could have just had a Saturday where
I
we
keep
have
saying,
one game
I
between
will
them.
say
Wild
this,
card weekend?
is that
Jeez,
what I
that
want to
isn't a
see.
thing,
That
is
would
it?
have been pretty fun, hey?
What I want to see more in the playoffs is teams with losing records. That's what I want to see in the playoffs.
No, we don't.
That's all I'm saying.
We don't want to see that,
That's
Dust.
all
We're
I'm
just
saying.
talking about a one-game play.
One
Calgary
game
Flames, how many
One
games
game
below
playing.
500 are they?
One game. Well, you want to go to them? They are 24, 26, and 3. I don't know.
What's Dallas?
That's a team I want to see in the playoffs for sure.
What's Dallas?
Dallas is 23, 19,
Oh.
and 14.
Oh, yeah.
So you get one good matchup.
Okay.
You also get a bunch of crappy ones. Sure.
Oh, you know, it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah,
Hey,
but why
the
stop?
thing about it,
Why stop there though? Why don't you add two
Dust-
teams into the playoff
Dust,
game?
what you're talking
Playing
about,
game.
though, is this year where each conference played each other, 10 times, right? Or each division played each other 10 times. If you took this over a regular season, it wouldn't be as far-fetched as what you're trying to make it out to be.
Yeah,
Because
play
then you're
82
playing the
games.
rest of
That's
the
not
teams.
enough.
All
That's
these
not
other
enough games to
teams
tell
would be,
who should be in the playoffs.
I
and who
think it
should
would have
be
been
out.
awesome.
I'm just saying.
Hey, one Saturday where you have these 4 games, winner takes all, and is in the playoffs. I think it'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be hype? Like, you go, I don't want to see a losing team in the playoffs. It's like, okay, fair.
And how about if it starts
why
at,
don't-
like-
so we all write off every single team. We just went around, and it probably should have been the top 2 at each of the divisions should make the playoffs.
Could be wrong
Go head to
here.
head, make it short and sweet. The best teams are in, boom, done, and that's it. But playoffs have never been like that.
Could
like
be wrong.
playoffs in the NHL.
Could be wrong here right now, but doesn't Calgary have 3 more games left? So that could mean that they are above 500. Huh?
They're not going to be above 500. They're garbage.
I'm just saying, though, can you imagine a Saturday
If they
where
beat
we sit
Vancouver
here
3 times,
and we have a game?
Vancouver's hot garbage.
I tell you, after we add
Wild card
after
weekend.
we add
I agree.
Seattle in, we're going to have 32 teams in the lead. 16 make the playoffs. So half the teams.
I agree. I agree with 16 teams making the playoffs, Dust. What I'd like to see is a wild card weekend where they're the bottom 8. So
Not even the bottom 8.
like
it would
the 20th through 12th, right?
It'd probably be
The top 12 teams make the playoffs, and then the 13th to 20th have a wild card weekend where they play one game to get in. Not terrible.
Oh my God, the riffraff is coming in, folks. Tyler LaBerge has entered. We better talk nice and highly about the
if we're
Vancouver
talking
Canucks.
about having playing games, we might as well let Burt get in on this because then Vancouver could have a playing game as the last place team in the North
Why you
Division.
gotta be
No respect. I don't even get a seat.
Croft? I'm about to break that off in front of you. All right? I don't know what you're doing, but I'm.
You're short enough. You can sit on my knee. Hey.
I'd rather stay on Earl.
That wouldn't be the first time, boys.
I don't know who invited all these yahoos, but I tell you what, they're getting Sean's.
Who did
blood
Croft say
level
is
go.
winning the cup? Did we ever ask
Dodge
him?
Cup weekend.
He
He said
said
Montreal.
No.
Oh, yeah, Vegas.
Vegas
Yeah.
over Montreal.
Vegas over Montreal. That's right.
Bert, who do you got in the finals? You can talk in Harley's mic. Harley, turn a little bit. Who you got in the finals? The final 2 teams and who's winning?
Colorado's looking pretty good,
Okay, Colorado.
and I like the Islanders. I think
Colorado Islanders.
Yeah, but Island,
with
they'll
who
play in
winning?
the
With who
semifinals. Those two
Oh,
teams
yeah,
will
yeah.
play in the semifinals.
there you go. Obviously, I didn't do my homework.
So you've got the Toronto, the Canadian division, and you've got the Florida division coming out of the other side.
Nothing like being on the spot, eh?
Right?
Rolling into the room, grab a Bud Light.
What did you think
tell
you're
us
gonna
what you
do?
think.
Come sit here and drink and not do anything? Come on.
Comes through the door. Hey, who's gonna win the cup? Right now, who's gonna win the cup and who's in the finals? Well, I'm still sticking with Colorado.
Okay, Colorado,
So-
and so then you got on the other
so
side
then
like
we got-
the Bostons, the
No,
Pittsburgh
no. You don't have that. Come on,
That's what I'm
Sean.
thinking.
God, I'm messing
No,
this
no,
up.
no. You've got Carolina, Florida, Tampa Bay, Toronto, Edmonton.
Not
all those
Edmonton.
teams.
Not Edmonton.
You sure not Edmonton?
I'm sure not Edmonton.
He's bitter on Edmonton. Tell me how good Elias Peterson is, though. Please.
Yes, Vancouver might make it to the final. They're looking good.
Hey, they have a playing game.
They
guys.
get
could.
to play tonight, right? So I mean that's kind of
You
a
know,
playoff.
it's funny. Dustin loves to bring up the playoff game if they played in. The Canucks are dead fucking last. What the hell are you talking about?
All I'm saying is,
Let's just
why
take the
stop
32nd team and say, yeah,
why
they
stop
get
at
in.
team number 20? Why don't you just add them all in and play?
Because that's
playing
ridiculous
games?
stuff.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You're ridiculous. That's what you are. Did we get an answer from Bert? My
No.
brother's pissing me off now.
Which
I don't
one?
have an answer. I'd have to think about that.
So you're picking Colorado to win.
Colorado to win.
Colorado's looking good.
Okay,
I like
Colorado. He's taking
Colorado.
Colorado. All right. And the rest of us have the Denver Golden Nuggets winning the NBA.
No, I'm going with Brooklyn.
Oh, you're going with Brooklyn.
I'm
Right,
going
right.
to LA Lakers, but
Giannis is going to get over the hump this year.
You're saying Milwaukee. You're saying the Milwaukee Bucks.
Bucks fear the deer.
Fear
All
the
right.
deer. I would take that for Wisconsin. Yeah, that's where I play my hockey. Milwaukee's, yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Darnell Nurse, because I got this bone of contention because I kind of crapped on Darnell Nurse and I kind of, he's kind of like, it's like he listened to it and then just started lighting it up. Is Darnell Nurse that good?
He's a solid defenseman.
Solid defenseman.
He gets no PP time, and he's got that many goals.
He's got a wicked.
He's getting no PP time. I mean, look at his goals this year. Like he's.
Have you seen some of his goals? Like, I get it. He shoots the puck, right? Always a good trait. He jumps in the rush and understands where to be, even better. But some of his goals, the other teams have scored on him, right? And I'm just like,
That's a good trait of good goal scorer, Sean.
It's luck. I tell you what, like, I don't know
tell
what
you
to
what,
say.
Do I expect him to lead the?
Clefbaum hasn't scored that many goals ever.
Clefbaum, yeah, well, that's a true story.
I will say this: is Darnell Nurse probably this will be his high point for goals? I think because there has been some luck there for sure, but he's still going to get quite a few goals. He's a solid defenseman.
I know. I think what they've been telling us for the last 2 or 3 years, the reason they put an A on him is because of how hardworking he is. And, lots of times, especially with the defense, you hear about a guy that's hardworking. He's got the size, the physical skills. If he's willing to be that hardworking and he comes from that pedigree, you just slowly see him continue to rise. And that's what's happened, right? You take a small guy, a 5'10" guy, that guy has to be all world because he's 5'10". And so he can be as hardworking and as skillful as you want, but he has to be that. Whereas you take a guy like Darnell Nurse, that big, that many natural skills, his skating stride, everything like that. If he's hardworking, he's going to get there. And you see it.
Well, look at his 5-on-5 scoring as a defenseman the last few years. He's been consistently in the top 20, improving every year. It's kind of hard to refute.
So in a year and a half's time when they got to sign him, right? Because he's still got next year at 5.6. Is he getting signed like he's your number one D-man?
I think
5.6 is what he's getting paid right now.
I think if you're paying him $6 million a year, I think that's fair.
Yeah, but is he signing for that?
No, I think you're probably signing more like in a 7.5.
I was thinking 6 3/4, 7.5, somewhere in there.
So you're paying him. All of us in here are paying him?
Mark Giordano is 6.75. To give you an idea.
To give you a comparable.
At 7.5, you got Jared Spurgeon, Ryan Suter, Aaron Ekblad, Chris Letang is 7.25. Now Letang signed long term a while ago, right? So that's not really a good comparable, but at least.
But is Ryan Suter actually a good comparable for him? Because Ryan Suter was never known as that top end PP guy. He's not Letang, but as a minute muncher, big strong defenseman, good defenseman, still throws in his 40 points a year. It's probably a very good comparable. And Darnell Nurse, if you sign him, what's he going to give you? He's going to give you where he gives you minute munching minutes, and he is strong and can handle the other team's top players.
What is he playing? 25 minutes a night?
Probably.
Thereabouts? I think I tell you what, I think you got to sign him because he's the one guy on your team. You look at defensemen, where he fills a very definite niche on your team. You don't have anyone else like him.
And who's probably, I mean, he's still a young guy, so was he going to be top 10 or 15 in the league for that position,
For
what he does?
5-6 years?
For 5 or 6 years?
Yeah.
I can't keep it in. I wish the listener could see this. You got Harley with the only arm, the boom arm in the studio, and he somehow managed to pull the mic off the arm. So he's trying to slowly get it back up, but he can't.
I can't.
Because he's a moron, and so he's sitting like it's just. This is great. This is great. This is.
There's way too much chaos going on in here.
Yeah, we got too many guys.
Sean, you got to go to the final 5.
All right,
we got to get out of here.
Okay.
Me and Dust are trying to be professional. We got all this garbage going on.
Yeah,
All right.
Jay and I are keeping the show going,
That's
and everybody else is like being an idiot.
Let's go to the Crude Master Final 5, and then we'll let everybody get on with their life, and we for sure will. You back, Harles? You feeling
Back.
good?
I'm
Like,
back. I'm back, baby.
Like, you know, somebody got a leash on Harles. Feel like he's a 2-year-old at the park or
All
something.
right, let's go.
Crew Master Final 5. Shout out to Heath and Tracy McDonald for supporting the podcast from the very beginning. First one is going back to your kid days. What was your favorite cartoon as a kid?
Ooh, there was some good. No, there was. I'm a little older than you, Copes. So there was some good ones. But you know, you've got Smurfs. Hey, that was a pretty strong one when you're. Because I'm talking as a kid. I'm not talking as a.
So is this one of those things where you're throwing out a bunch of different ones and you're not?
Yeah,
picking
you
one,
kind of been
or
Harley today. You know?
Yeah, you've been
Just
hard on
throwing
me
out
right
the
at the very
shots.
beginning, and now you're just
Hey,
throwing out
hey,
a bunch of different
Sean,
random names.
that's pretty strong, Sean. That's pretty strong.
I asked for one, and you're gonna give me this long story about 6. Like I don't need 6. I want the favorite cartoon.
Because
Is it Smurfs?
No, I was trying to think of the one we watched after school with the cats. Were Thundercats? Oh, Thundercats. That was probably the number
Oh,
one.
there we go. Thundercats.
See, I'm going to go Saturday morning, Transformers. But I actually thought Jay's after-school favorite was actually Care Bears. I'm surprised by that. But I'll go Transformers.
I think Roadrunner. Mason right now is at that age of, you know, what do I go to when we're sitting down, and Roadrunner is.
So you're like talking Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you talking?
Clean, funny
you talking
humor.
Looney Tunes in general, or are you talking just Roadrunner?
Sure.
Wile E. Coyote?
You want to throw in Looney Tunes? Sure.
Yeah, well, it was.
I was kind of talking like Harley now that I hear him.
Yeah. I was gonna go.
A lot more alike than we think.
Harley and I used to wake up at like 6:30 in the morning, hoping every Saturday morning that cartoons would start earlier because somebody at school had told us a story about they're starting earlier. So you wake up at 6:30 and it would be static out on the farm, and the first cartoon was always Tintin for an hour. Why? I have no idea.
That was terrible.
And then at 8 o'clock though was the original Batman. That was. It was the best, by far the best. No better cartoons
Sean
ever
like
come
Batman?
on.
I never knew.
No, but what's that saying that you love? Right?
I don't know. What's
no,
the saying?
always be yourself. Unless you can be Batman, then be Batman.
Then be Batman.
Right?
That's right. Yeah, it was a great
Always
cartoon.
be Batman.
See, I thought Harley's favorite, for the record, was always Inspector Gadget. And then Sean's, what was the one where I can't remember the name of it, but they had the air balloon and they flew around.
Oh God, Frank! No, God, no. That was no.
What is
Stop
it? What is it?
No,
no, not Babar.
Not Babar.
What was the one? Arles, you know what I'm talking about with the air balloon?
Yeah, they fly around in the ship and they have the air balloon and they land.
Oh,
and
they're a bunch of elephants, aren't they?
No, not that's
Oh,
Babar.
that's Babar.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Do you know which one I'm talking
Anyways,
about?
I have no
He used
idea.
to come on after school.
Listeners are yelling at the radio. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
Who's the Canadian team that goes the farthest this year? I've already taken my pick. My stab. The Edmonton Oilers are going to be it for me. Crawford says the Montreal Canadiens. What?
I agree.
Well, get down to the mic and say that. What?
I agree. I think Montreal. I think they're going to take Toronto out. Toronto just they don't get it done in the playoffs. They got a lot of talented guys.
Another Montreal
They're going to get
Canadian guy.
leaned on hard by Montreal. Montreal's bigger. Montreal's going to take them, and I think they're going to build off that.
Keep in mind, this is coming from a Vancouver Canucks fan.
I will say that
Who
Montreal.
was the deepest Canadian team last year, might I add?
Where are they sitting this year?
Montreal actually reminds me a lot of the Vancouver Canucks in that they suck. So I'm going to go with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
All right, so
Toronto
Dust.
Maple Leafs.
So a Montreal, an Oilers, Dust Toronto, Harley Toronto, Colby.
Oilers.
Hey, I'll take that. I'll take that.
And please just don't judge me by the people I hang around with. But I'm taking Toronto.
You know what's funny about that? So the last time we had a discussion about the top Canadian team, the next team to win the Cup that was Canadian, I know I picked Toronto. I don't know what the rest of you guys took, but I know I took Toronto, for the record.
Pretty sure I took Edmonton, and I'm still sticking with Edmonton. So
yeah, Harley took Edmonton. Sean for sure took Edmonton. Surprise, surprise. I don't know who Jay. I don't know who Jay took. Jay might have took Winnipeg actually.
We know that Sean took Edmonton. That's awesome.
Who's your dark horse team this playoffs?
My dark horse team is the New York Islanders.
if you pick Montreal to win the Stanley Cup, is Montreal still a dark horse? Just
No. But I'm just saying that to me, a dark horse team is
a team that is
if
not
they're in fourth in their division. That's
they're
got to be a
not
dark horse.
They're not predicted to go far.
Is Boston considered a dark horse?
No.
They're third.
No,
I know.
They're not predicted.
So
they're not a dark horse.
I mean, your bottom teams are considered dark horses, right? So
your,
Nashville,
your bottom
the Islanders,
teams, yeah, Winnipeg,
Montreal,
Nashville.
I didn't pick any of those.
Montreal, New York Islanders, St. Louis are probably your bottom. Minnesota is definitely a dark horse.
Okay, so I didn't pick any of those teams to win.
That's right. This is your dark horse.
This is your dark horse.
So I will pick a dark horse of the New York Islanders then.
St. Louis Blues.
Well, now that Dustin's picked the Islanders, I can't pick the Islanders. Like,
that's right. You can't follow suit.
Oh,
Heaven
my
forbid.
grace. And would you pick, Harl? St. Louis?
St. Louis.
I'm doing the Nashville Predators. That's my dark horse.
Well, I'm picking the Islanders.
Anybody else? You want to in? Crop?
Minnesota Wild.
Really?
You want a dark horse.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's a dark
I
horse.
said the Islanders in the final there when I messed that up. So the Islanders would be a good pick there.
And Colb's going with the Phoenix Suns.
Milwaukee Bucks. Hey?
I love Lamp.
Hey, I got a championship.
When?
Wait a minute. Are the Lakers a dark horse
Wait a
this
second.
year then?
Wait a second. Does everybody in this room have a Don's Cup title except for Mike Crawford?
That would be correct.
I can't wait for this to air on Monday. Wish you could all get to know Mike Crawford and know that he's been in the Don's Cup for way too long and has no championships.
15 years. 15-year anniversary.
Can we hear the year value?
Yeah, I think it's 15 years.
15 years?
15 years.
Are we wrapping this up?
He is the Buffalo Sabres of the Don's Cup.
You know, that's why Crawford always brings the cigars to it. Because the guy who's gone the longest without winning a championship has to bring the cigars.
Who's the drunkest guy tonight at the Don's Cup?
Sean Newman.
And in case you didn't hear that, he said Sean Newman.
I got to deal with all you
with.
yahoos. Is that you're all saying me?
No. I think I don't know an occasion where everyone got drunk where Bert wasn't the drunkest guy. So I don't know how I don't go with Bert.
There
He
you
seems
go.
like he's grown up.
He behaved last.
I know.
Year.
He's grown up, but I just still don't have. I still
Am I
have
the
trouble
dark
not
horse
saying
to get
Bert.
the drunkest or what?
No, you're not the dark horse. So I still think you're the favorite.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Nate, but Nate's not
Well,
there.
Nate
is he?
and Paul, those are two obvious ones there. So
they're not coming.
So then I'm gonna go with the legend himself, Mike Crawford. I feel like he's having a time today.
He's gonna have a runaway.
And you
He's having a
know,
time.
if he's having a time, then the oldest brother is having a time. So I'm going to go with the oldest brother.
There you go.
Giddy up.
Final one. We got to have our Scotch bet. So we got to pick a player. Now, anyone in the playoffs, highest total obviously is the best. Out of the four, whoever gets the lowest buys Scotch next time. And Dustin lost, so he starts. And heck, we'll go clockwise, so I pick last.
I'll go Mitch Marner.
Jonathan Huberdeau.
Jay?
Jonathan Huberdeau. Anyways, I'm gonna go with Nathan McKinnon. I love free Scotch.
Oh, I picked the Oilers, boys.
Connor
Connor McDavid, baby.
Do you know
Let's
what?
go. Let's go. Let's fire this up.
The last time we did this, Sean took McDavid.
And Harley took Leon Draisaitl.
And then Harley
But the
lost.
leader had to win. This one's different because it's the lowest point.
No. The one with the lowest point total had to buy.
So, right.
And we had two guys off the same team, and then Edmonton lost in the second round, and Harley had to buy because Draisaitl didn't get as
Let's
many
see what
points as
happens this
McDavid.
time.
That's right. Well, thanks, boys, for coming in, and look forward to tonight.
Thanks, Sean.
Hey, folks. Thanks for joining us today. If you just stumbled on the show, please click subscribe. Then scroll to the bottom and rate and leave a review. I promise it helps. Remember, every Monday and Wednesday, we will have a new guest sitting down to share their story. The Sean Newman Podcast is available for free on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcast fix. Until next time. Hey, Keeners. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a little bit of fun with us group of yahoos today. It was an eventful one. The brothers and then the legend Mike Crawford being in there. And then Kobe shows up and then Tyler Burr shows up. It was just like, what the heck is going on here? The studio is bumping. But we had our hockey draft that night and a lot of fun was had. That's for sure. It's a fun time of year when the NHL playoffs kick off. And if you can believe it, my wife has been out golfing before I have, so I think it's tie time. I took Champer up, get that cast off. Let's go swing the irons and hit the links. What do you say, big shooter? All right, rest of you, we'll catch up to you Wednesday.